Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload, as you can tell by the title, we'll be talking yet again about the potential for that large fall storm. And you may be asking, why am I so attached to this fall system? And that's a fair question to ask. The reason being is really the pattern up until this weekend will be dry, boring, really nothing going on, excluding quite a bit of precipitation across the south to do with the remnants of Tropical Storm Beta. That will definitely be a concern, and also the northwest seeing some precipitation, including southwestern Canada. But otherwise, really high and dry, nothing too exciting, so I decided to focus on, the next big thing. If you are new to this channel, hello, welcome. If you couldn't tell, we are about the weather. We do all sorts of weather-related content. So if you guys, enjoy that type of stuff, consider subscribing. Obviously, check out the channel first, watch the video, and you could always unsubscribe if you would like. If you don't like what you're seeing, and if you do like what you're seeing, consider also liking the video, as that's a great support mechanism. And as long as you have a YouTube account, you could like the video, and it helps out. So let's get into this. Right now, let's start off by looking at the GFS. As I mentioned, really not much going on across the country. Again, we have remnants of Tropical Storm Beta. They are powerful. It is delivering quite a bit of rain, and definitely something to keep an eye out for if you live in the south. The rain amounts won't be as high as they were across portions of Texas and where it originated, but it really still could pose a pretty big threat. Notice we do have an area of showers developing today and into tomorrow morning. So tonight and into tomorrow, really, across Wisconsin and Minnesota and Iowa and moving into the UP of Michigan. Those could form into a cluster, but they really quickly die off, and they aren't long-lasting, which is good, but they do need some rain up there. Really anywhere, honestly, they need rain, excluding the areas where they got flooded in the south. The south really just is wet this year. Anywhere else, not the story. And again, as I mentioned, you can see the northwest is full of precipitation, and that's where our storm's going to originate from. Now, it's not necessarily going to be this wave, but it's going to come from British Columbia, the northwest, southwestern Canada. A lot of precipitation will be falling. Now, due to the lack of cool temperatures over there will not be a lot of snow. You could see that some elevations, the very high ones, will be seeing some snow, right? But I'll show you the temperature anomalies in just a bit, and really the heat that could be going on across the west is unfortunate. That's the way to put it, because it's going to be warm, maybe enjoyable, since it's already late September, so it's not going to get incredibly hot. But again, forest fires have been such a big issue, and with the weather that's forecasted, they may continue to be. Notice that we see the system kind of spread some of its energy. Right there, we see a little storm. This at the beginning, a couple days ago even, was forecast to become a larger storm. At this point, it looks as if it will just really drop a cold front through some of the northern Great Lakes, Wisconsin, Michigan, the UP, and move into, sorry about that, my phone is on, so that was that. And it moves into southern Canada, so precipitation for lots of Quebec and Ontario, and in northern Maine, the northern portions of the northeast, but that thing really doesn't do much by itself. We start seeing a system right behind it, again, due to energy, or brought to you by energy from the west, and you can see that we see a lot of another, band of precipitation developing. This one tries using some of that tropical moisture. It is really not that successful at utilizing that, if you will, but it definitely does provoke a pretty large band of showers and storms across the northeast and into eastern portions of Canada. So moving into Labrador and into eastern Quebec, and the actual storm system is centered really right across James Bay, this area of water right here, and body of water is connected to Hudson Bay. And we also see another storm system following right that again, kind of like a typical clipper, but during the fall. And you can see this one really gets wrapped up and becomes pretty impactful. Despite even, I say large storm and people automatically think rain. This may not be the biggest rainmaker, while there will be several locations seeing 3 to 4 inches. This one right here will be a big wind maker, and during the fall, winds could cause really large waves, especially since, the winds, in the fall are the same as summer, so that just alone the season doesn't cause bigger waves. But usually during the fall, we do see storms that have bigger winds, and this one may be the case. And when Lake Michigan is almost at record level water heights. If you aren't from the Great Lakes, you wouldn't really know about this, but Lake Michigan is at its highest water level ever since the 1800s. So any storms that passes through has even a slightest bit of wind and waves form, it's a big threat. And especially when we have like a beast right near it, some of these waves could just be damaging and life-threatening. So that is definitely not good news. You can see this does spin up and produce rain across the northeast and bring some snow showers into the UP, even some lake effect it looks possibly, and also into central Ontario, a bit of snow mixing in as well. Notice that pushes through, but what we are left behind with is a good chunk of cold air. Now, I want to quickly go over the precipitation. So, yesterday I think I got a comment, one person said that, their location isn't forecast to get really much precipitation, and this, therefore, it should be called a large storm. And again, I want to say this right here and make it clear. I forecast for the general United States. I don't forecast for Chicago, Pittsburgh, or Cleveland. I don't forecast for an individual city. It doesn't matter if your city is going to get half an inch. If your city is going to get a fourth of an inch and everyone around you is going to get an inch or two, I'm obviously going to, say it's a big storm because the inch or two covers way more than just your special city. So I think it's quite a bit petty when people do that, kind of self-centered about their own cities, if you will. It's important, obviously, to care about your city and what you're supposed to get, but that shouldn't disregard that this is a not a snowstorm or a large storm. I was thinking about snowstorms, that's why I said that word, and it brings up a similar situation a couple of years back when there was a large winter storm across the northeast, and people right across the coastal areas were saying it was a hoax, it was a blow-off, they butchered the forecast. And the fact is that, 10 miles west of those people was, record-breaking amounts of snow. So really, maybe the forecast details were off, but the storm wasn't a flop. So that's something that meteorologists continue to fight with, just people kind of being wish-casting for their own location and spreading false information, if you will, of, oh, this never happened. You just got to look a little bit around yourself. And obviously, I'm not talking to my general audience because 99% of people don't do this. It's just that 1% that do that. But, all it takes is 1% to ruin a thing. Let's take a look at the precip, since we're talking about it. Notice a general area of, 1 to 2 inches across the northern Great Lakes, and it does get less in some locations. You can see Chicago, for example, is 2/10, 3/10 of an inch. That isn't really a large storm for my area, but you can see the rest of the United States is covered with precipitation, or, the rest of the forecasting area is covered in precipitation. So obviously I will talk about it. This is just a GFS model. Let's take a look at the Canadian. You can see it's similar. They have a lot of rain in various areas. They are a bit pocketed, if you will. Sometimes these fall storms, kind of still do produce these thunderstorms, and those obviously produce isolated amounts of very heavy rain. And may have one town seeing a lot and another neighboring town not seeing much. The south also, I want to point out, seeing lots of rain with the southern, with the tropical storm beta remnants and the flow from the tropics. And notice, obviously, British Columbia, as I mentioned, in the northwest, really just Oregon and Washington and British Columbia seeing quite a bit of precipitation. And that's almost too much, and, too much of a good thing, if you will, because that could cause some mudslides, landslides, especially where the areas have been charred by the fires. Let's take a quick glance at the European model. Okay, so the European was kind of the model that showed this storm from the beginning the most accurately. So, based on logical reasoning, it should be the one that's taken with the most care. And usually what the European shows, the other models mimic within a day or two. Notice tropical storm. I always want to say tropical storm Sally, but Beta, you just had so many this year that they all just start getting mixed up at this point. But tropical storm Beta, delivering rain, cluster of showers and storms across the Midwest, and then that big storm across the British Columbian mountains, Rocky Mountains, and into Washington and Oregon, the Cascades. Notice we do see a little storm pop off right here into Saskatchewan and Manitoba. That does deliver a bit of precipitation into this weekend, but the main event comes after that. We see a little bit stronger of a storm, 994 in middle of bars, delivering some precipitation and showers, rain across Minnesota and into southern Canada. So, I do include Canada into my forecasts, so this is still valid to talk about. The weather just doesn't stop at the border. And if we were to put this further into play, we could see we have that large storm system moving off right here, which will play a pretty big role. But the remnants of this storm system combining with the tropical moisture fuel. Right there, you can see fuel another low pressure starts getting some rain shaft and bands of precip. Notice we do see a pretty well spun out low pressure moving quite a bit of precipitation into the Canadian area. This storm right here, the GFS and European earlier were showing to become pretty powerful. At this point, you can see it's weakened. It's not as strong as it originally was showing. It kind of takes this one as the main star of the show, if you will. But definitely still a lot of lingering precipitation and kind of. Notice, look at that, just that little train of precipitation forming. And if that were to form on land, that could be a bit more concerning. We'll have to see. This is still pretty far out, so this storm could develop into a stronger system like we saw on the GFS model, but it's all still up for grabs by each model. And notice, south, several inches, 4 or 5 inches, and northwest, just seeing loads, 11, 12, 13 inches, especially across the areas closer to the coast. Really, though, it's a sharp contrast. You get into southeastern Oregon and you see nothing. Northern Idaho, extreme portions of western Montana, and Washington, Oregon are really the only states are going to be seeing that precipitation out of that system. Again, that was my chair. I do apologize about that. Notice, since as we move this into Canada, Quebec, lots of locations right here getting 1 to 2, 3 inches. Same thing with Ontario, north of Lake Superior, and into Minnesota, 2, 3 inches. Wisconsin, 1 to 2 inches. We do get less as we move towards kind of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic area, but this could possibly push some of this precipitation from the remnants of beta into the Mid-Atlantic. But then notice parts of the Northeast also seeing some generous amounts. New York City, the bigger cities, not that much. You could see 2/10, 3/10 as of this model run. But again, those aren't the centers of the world. We have folks living outside of that, so we still are valid to call this a big storm. So let's take a look at the 00Z model. This one was from the midnight model run, and I really want to just show you that there are differences from each model run, but generally, similar stories. Precip more towards the north. You could see with the previous model run, it was more centered kind of to the south, and lots of Michigan saw quite a bit of rain, and Quebec was, isolated amounts of 3 to 4 inches, and the coastal areas saw a bit more. We'll have to see how this unfolds. This may or may not change. The details will for sure, but whether the overall structure of the storm will change, we'll have to see. And also, I just want to point out, the temperatures after this storm will be impactful for a giant area. I mean, you can see that after this, we could be looking at much below average temperatures, and they are confident in that, marked by that 70 to 80% chance of being below average. So yes, frost and freezes will be pretty widespread across the plains and Midwest as of this time frame. So really only a few more weeks across the northern United States for the gardening season and frost-free weather. But hopefully we could stave that off, but doesn't seem too likely because of this beast that comes through, delivers this powerful rain and really cold air. I just want to show you the European quickly, and to some of the cold air it's indicating. It's been indicating more and more cold air and less rain, and you could see that's not really a good trade-off, but look at that right there. Very, very chilly rain, or chilly precipitation. It will be chilly precip if it falls at rain, but just very cold temperatures below average, and also noticed in the west, boiling in a heat, and again, that's not good. As you saw by the forecast I was showing, the mountains will be dealing with a lot of rain, not snow, because of how hot it will be. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.